Pippa McCreary, who's extremely smart, one of the Amazon coaches, talks a lot about this, and her insights into this, which is something I've really embraced as well, is that your designer, indeed any of your outsourcers, anybody that you're working with, they're only as good as the brief that you give them. They're only as good as the brief that you give them. So if you've got a great designer and you've paid a lot of money, then you can get away with giving them a really half-assed brief. And they, because of their skills and their experience and things like that, they will be able to do a good job for you because they'll have the insights into your product, etc. But anything outside of that, where you're not spending $10,000, $15,000 on your brand, you'll need to do the work yourself so that your designer can have a much better understanding about your product, who you're selling to, your target audience, and things like that. So I thought, rather than kind of tell you this shit, it's much, much easier to just show you. So here is, for instance, what is this? So here is the brief that I did for Mick Kelly, who is GoMibby, and Mick does all of my Amazon images for me. So here's the brief that I have put together for the images for my particular product. So I told him what I want the images to do, but then I also gave him a lot of, and I did a video of this as well, a lot of kind of, here's what I like and what I don't like. So I just got a lot of images that I really thought were great, before and after shots, testimonial shots and things like that, and went through each one saying, Mick, this is what I like about this image, here's what I don't like about this image, like this one, for instance, the product, whilst the image does a good job, the product seems lost on it, so that's not good. This bundle thing, they've done that really, really well. I like the way they've done this, and I like the way they've used this bundle 3x, bundle 5x, as a very simple way of saying your bundles, etc., etc., etc. So that's what I did for Mick for my images, and that worked really, really well. And what's this one? So here's another briefing doc. So this one's a briefing doc that I did for a copywriter for the ketogenic shake that we sell over in the States. So here's the brand doc that I let them have, and I'll show you those in a second. And no, you cannot have a copy of it, but I will show you here. I did actually give everybody copies of these who were in my inner circle, but that's a different thing, why I gave them. So I talk about my brand docs, I'll show you those in a second. I talk about my target market, whom I marketed, why our product is better. Here's some of the keywords we want to include, etc., etc. So we do that for a copywriter, but they also get as well all of our label documents and our thoughts on the product. So here's what we put on the label. When we do for our designer, here's what we want to have on there for them. So we go through everything for them, so the designer doesn't have to figure this shit out for themselves. You've told them, here's what I want, here's who I'm targeting, here's why it's important, here's some thoughts about the product and what makes the product unique and different and things like that. Again, we want to give them as much information as we possibly can, and the more information we give them, and this is an interesting thing for you to think about, the more information that we give to our designer in this instance, the cheaper our packaging will be, because they haven't got to spend so much time trying to figure this stuff out for themselves, which they will charge you for, and the better result I will get as well. So the better result you will get by doing that work. So it's smiles all around. You know, you'll win financially, your product will win because you'll get a really good result from your product as well, and your designer will win because they get to do a great job for you based on what you want, rather than you going to them and saying, hey, I want to sell fluffy toys, come up with some packaging for me. Like, that's the normal design brief that designers get, and it's just crap. So things like that. So the more you think about it, the more care you take about it, the more care you show for your potential customers by wanting to understand them, the better the outcome you will get. I hope that makes sense. Who do I use? Mick Kelly from GoMibby has just started doing packaging design, and Mick is brilliant. As I said earlier, Mick does all my photographs for me. Mick started doing packaging design as well, and if the packaging design is half as good as the photos, they will be brilliant. It'll be a really high quality job, so you might want to consider giving Mick a call for that. The other thing I will say as well is that just like you and I have got preferences about stuff, so I may like selling in the dieting space, for instance, and that means I'll probably be good at marketing dieting products. But I'm not so good at selling in the fluffy toy category, for instance. I don't know what. So I won't be as good at marketing for that. Same with designers as well. If you are coming up with a product that they are interested in, they will really do a great job for you. So that ought to be one of the questions you ask them about their own interest in the thing that you're selling, An example of that is we used to sell a product called Kids 5 a Day, which was a great product. We got it to 30,000 units a month on auto rebill for that at 29 quid a pop. So if you do the maths, you can see it was extremely profitable. The designer who did that was a guy over in New York, and he had the same basic situation whereby his daughter would only eat a certain food, and he wanted to get her more vitamins and minerals into her system, and so he was really interested in the product, and it really showed in the design as well. So that's another good tip for you as well. Try and find people to work with who buy into what you're doing. That's a very important thing as well. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video, and I hope that you got some massive value from it. Before you go, do you live in Australia? If you do, this is for you. Would you like to learn how to sell things on Amazon here in Australia? Would you like to know what sells really, really well and what sells for the maximum amount of profit? Would you like to know where you can source those products from, whether that be in China or here in Australia, and how to source them so you pay bottom dollar and get maximum value for what you're doing? If you do, please subscribe to my channel and like this video, and you'll learn that and much more. It's the exact same information that people like Jeff from New South Wales I've used to make $45,000 a month on Amazon, that Sue, who's from the sunny coast, has used to purchase herself a brand spankly BMW every single year as a result of her e-commerce business, and the lovely Kate from Bowral in New South Wales has used to make $32,000 a year on a month, not a year, a month on Amazon, and indeed Anthony, who makes $15,000 a month on Amazon, selling, as he puts it, odds and sods. If you'd like to learn the exact same information that they use to maximize their profits for their Amazon businesses, subscribe to this video, like my channel, post below if you want me to teach you something. Okay, I'm out of here. Speak to you soon. Bye. Subscribe. Do it now.